Hello everyone, and thank you for attending this webinar on the new JITS platform. This particular training session addresses the roles of inspector, member coordinator, and member administrator. Before going through this event, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Konstantinos Staikos, and I am the director of EFOS UK. And I will guide you through the functionalities of the new JITS platform for the next 60 minutes. The event is divided in two major parts. We will first go through a short presentation of the new JITS platform and then switch to the live demo environment. So please allow me to start with the presentation. So like I said before, this presentation actually has 5 sections. The first one is introduction presentation, and then it's a live webinar. We'll log in as inspector, then we'll log in as a member coordinator, and then as member administrator. And then if we have time, we will answer some indicative questions at the end of this session. So let's start with who we are. We are EFOS UK. We are a software company based in London, and we are providing innovative operation management system solution for the oil industry. We actually would like to provide real-time powerful tools, software tools that transform real-time operation data into information that makes sense and drives performance, efficiency, optimization, safety, and cost reduction. FOS platform is a modular service as a software platform, which is specially designed for JIC to manage effectively the JIC inspection program. The platform inspection process flow consists of the following steps. The first one is validating location setup within the system by creating a draft inspection schedule and delivering it to member coordinators for their review. Then we have automatically generating the final inspection schedule using predefined rules. We then deliver the schedule to member coordinators and eventually inspectors, notifying at the same time all affected users. We provide the user-friendly environment for inspectors to submit inspection reports based on the preloaded JIC inspection checklists. We allow site and area managers to close out recommendations in a timely manner. Finally, we analyze the inspection data by delivering state-of-the-art reports on the total inspection process and its outcomes for stakeholders' review. At the beginning of each inspection period, the platform automatically produces a draft inspection schedule, which is delivered to the JIC technical manager for review. The embedded planning algorithm takes into account which members are eligible to inspect which locations under a set of rotation rule per location. The technical manager can alter the draft schedule, and once satisfied, he can deliver to the affected stakeholders, namely the member coordinators, for validation. The latter are called to validate that the locations where the employing member company has interest in are valid, so that the system can automatically find the best and right inspection planning solution for the upcoming period. Then the final inspection schedule is distributed through the system to the member coordinators, who can then assign specific inspections to eligible inspectors. The latter perform the physical on-site inspections and then submit the inspection reports into the platform, stating their recommendation, comments, and root causes of non-conformances identified. Then site managers or area managers called for action to close out the recommendation given for their location in due time. Finally, yet importantly, the platform delivers to eligible users advanced reports on the total inspection process and its outcomes. The new JITS platform follows all security and complies with all security standards, including ISO 2070-18, a code of practice that focuses on protection of personal data. It's also based on the security standard of 27002, providing implementation guidance about the controls and the applicable to personality identifying information. We also are hosted by Amazon, and which is actually responsible for infrastructure integrity, data availability, database and storage privacy, and network configuration. Just to name a few of the security compliance standards are included in the table below. We in FOS, we are responsible also for the friendly features. We use different user accounts based on different roles, having different privileges based on region, countries, and locations. Passwords having at least 8-character minimum and special characters included. Some tools that measures password strengths, and we force update of passwords every 3 to 6 months. We use security protocols, including HTTPS, for keeping the data transmission secure and from reading and modifying any information transfer. Finally, we log all user activity, so we know each time who and what. Like I mentioned before, we use different roles inside the system. This table actually gives you information about the total number of roles that are used in new JITS platform. We start with the general manager of the JIT organization having full ownership of the system functionalities, except inspection scheduling, which resides to technical manager and JIT admin staff only. Then we have a technical manager, the owner of the total inspection process, from scheduling to management reporting, often referred to herein as TM. He has the full ownership of the software and full access rights. We have JIT admin, JIT administration staff, with full privilege like the technical manager. Then we have member coordinators. They are a member company employee who is in charge for the total inspection process of the location his employing member company participates in. He is responsible from scheduling to reporting and often referred as MC. He has advanced right for specific entries to the entitled locations. Also, MCs are acting as user owners of the member administrators. Member administrators are also member companies employees who, based on their job responsibilities, are entitled to follow location inspection rollout and performance. They can have limited access rights compared to the member coordinators, mainly on receiving notification as well as getting reports from the system. Member administrators can be set up to access specific location at a regional, country, or location level. Then we have inspectors, the person assigned by the member coordinators to perform an inspection at the location on behalf of the member company. Inspectors are the only ones entitled to compile and submit inspection reports into the system. Technical manager and JIT admin users who oversee the active inspector list act as the inspector's user owners. Site managers, the manager of a location, who is a responsible party to facilitate the inspection process by concluding a fixed date with the assigned inspector for the upcoming inspection, by welcoming the inspector on site, by attending the inspection, by agreeing on the recommendation given by the inspector, and by closing out the recommendations within the target date, both physical and in the platform. Area managers. They are the manager of the site managers, overseeing a number of locations. Area managers can view the report submitted for their sites, close out the recommendation given, and get reports on their performance. Area managers are also employed by operators and can be set up to use specific locations at the regional, country, and location. Then we have the permissions per. So as you can see, this table, create and set draft schedule is a permission only for JIT TM and JIT admin. The same occurs when we want to create and send the schedule. Changing the inspection date can be implemented by JIT TM, JIT admin, inspector, member coordinator, and member admin. While changing the inspecting company, only TM and JIT admin has this right. Member coordinators, member administrators, JIT admin, and JIT TM can assign and change inspectors to inspection, while only inspector can submit an inspection, and area manager and site manager can close out the recommendation. Member coordinators, member admin, area manager, and site managers can see the schedule, of course, based on the privilege, which means that only for the location that they have interest in. The same is with viewing inspection, viewing findings, checklist and inspection reports, and of course, view location history reports. Member coordinators has also visibility to inspector performance reports and global rankings report. Finally, only JIC TM and JIC admin can set up the various entities in this system, like member companies, operators, locations, change version of checklists, and set up new users. Except from the member coordinators who can actually create a user with a role member administrator. Now I would like to pass on with some, before we go to the live demo, but we consider important to tell you about some very, very basic definitions of the platform. So we'll start with member companies. These are all the companies that participate in the inspection process, either as solus companies or as JVs. Member companies have interests in operators and so locations either as individual owners, as shareholders, or as throughputters. Each member company is related to one or more operators and locations. Member companies are eligible to inspect the locations they participate in. Location, it refers to an operational unit under the inspection regime. Locations operate in the aviation, fuel supply, distribution, airport storage, and into-plane business. They carry the following important metadata, which uniquely identify them. Location type. Each location is primarily categorized with its location type as airport or SD facility. Operation type. The location's operation type categorizes further the location type to the applicable JIC standard. Therefore, the following operation types have been embedded: JIC1, JIC2, JIC12, JIC4, refinery, terminal, and pipeline operation. Operational profile is something that for each location is furthermore specified to reflect the exact type of each operational setup. So locations are characterized by their product receipt facilities, their product delivery facilities, the type of vehicles they use for supplying fuel to an aircraft, if a hydrogen system is present, etc. The table in this slide outlines the above location structure. Another important definition is the location naming convention. In this new JITS platform, we follow a new rule of how we name locations. So for airports, we use the location city, then the IATA code, the entity, and the operation profile. So you can see an example about how the location in Amsterdam will be named. For SD facilities, likewise, we have the location city, the entity, and the operation type. So again, you can see in this example how an SD facility in Amsterdam will be named. Operators actually is a very important object in this new JITS system. They operate locations, and they can be either member companies or non-member companies. Entities are also important entity inside this new system, and they are located into the location. Another very, very important aspect in this new system is the whole workflow of the inspection process. So that's why we have the following inspection statuses. The first status of an inspection workflow is generated, is when an inspection has been generated by the platform and the schedule is still in draft mode. Distributed, when an inspection has been generated by the platform and the technical manager has distributed the final schedule to member coordinators. Unscheduled, when an inspection has been assigned to an inspector by a member coordinator, but the inspector has not yet scheduled the exact date. Scheduled, when an inspector has scheduled with the site manager the exact date for an upcoming inspection. In progress, when an inspector marks an inspection as complete and drafts the inspection report. Report submitted, when an inspector submits the inspection report. Cause analysis. This is a process according to which the inspector pinpoints where something failed, what exactly failed, and what is the significance of the failure of the operation integrity. A cause analysis form is launched each time an inspector gives a recommendation to a particular question, and it is a mandatory field. Cause analyses are therefore characterized by where, what, and significance. The cause analysis process is structured so that the platform automatically notes where something failed depending on the checklist question number, and then inspector may use a preloaded set of answers for each what and each significance. Inspectors are allowed to identify up to 3 causes per recommendation. At this moment, I would like to talk about supported browsers and optimal settings that you have to have in your browsers in order to have the full experience of the new JITS platform. So the recommended browsers are the following: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge. It is also recommended, due to the platform's high resolution, to adjust your browser's zoom zooms in 70, 80, or 90% depending on your screen size. Finally, for a smooth browsing in the new JITS platform, we recommend that JavaScript is enabled. During this session, you will be able to leave a question by using the question box in your right-hand side. We will receive an email with your question. We plan to answer some of those questions in the last section of this session, but depending on the number of questions, we might not be able to reply to all questions in this event. However, we will answer all of your questions by emailing the answer within a couple of days. So we just finished the first section of this webinar, and now I think it's time to switch to the live demo. So I will first log in as an inspector and then as a member coordinator. So I am logging as an inspector. Before proceeding with describing all the actions for this role, I would like to guide you with some common functionalities of the platform. So the first thing that I would like to guide you is with the data tables. Let me take you to one data table of this role. So it's all tables in the platform, but you can see relevant information and data, and they follow exactly and support the following features. Number of entries. Shown in the left of the page, where the message informs you about the number of entries shown compared to the total number in the database. You can search. So in order to search for a specific entry, you have two options. Either a universal search for all data columns in the upper right corner of the page, where a text search fields exist, here. Alternatively, a column-based search where the text search field exists for the specific column. For entries with a finite number of selections, a drop-down list exists instead of a text field, where you may select the entry from the list. Sorting. You may press these arrows here and sort column data in ascending or descending order. Entries per page. You may narrow or expand the number of shown entries per page by selecting the desired number in the drop-down list. Navigate pages. In case there is more than one page of entries, you can navigate to previous next page using the page selector on the bottom right of the page. Export tables. All tables can be exported by pressing the red button in the upper right corner. The available export formats for tables are CSV files and XLS Excel file format. Another universal feature is My Profile. So in the profile account page, in tab Personal Info, you can view your personal info like email, your phone number, and you may choose to have a picture. You may change them and then press the Save button to save the changes. In the Change Password tab, you can change your password anytime you want. But remember each time to keep the new password somewhere safe. In order to log out, click again on your name on the top right corner and click on Log Out. In case you have more than one role into the system, those will be listed in this folding menu under Roles. So for example, here we have only the role of inspector, but if you had more than one roles, all of them will be listed here. And you can easily switch between your roles with one-click selection of the desired role, without having to log out, log in, log out, log in again. Another universal feature of this new platform is this gray ribbon on top of the page. It's always present and contains the menus that the user is entitled to access. By clicking on the FOSS and JIG logo on the top left of the page, at any time, the platform redirects you to the home page. The top ribbon also contains in-app notifications. This button opens all in-app notifications sent to the user based on the set rules embedded in the platform. Now, inspectors have access to the following menus: My Tasks, Inspections, and My Findings. Now, we will actually navigate to all pages that an inspector is eligible to see and act. The home page for each inspector is My Tasks, and you can have several views in order to do the same thing. You can have it as a panel view, you can have it as a calendar view, you can have it as a map view, or as a list view. The most important thing that you have to do is actually you have to fill out the report. So in order to prepare and submit the inspection report, you should follow the steps below. So for example, you have been assigned to inspect 3 locations: New York, Melbourne, and Puerto Rico. New York is still in status unscheduled. At this stage, you may view all open overdue recommendation, download previous inspection report, or download the blank checklist. So here you can see all open overview recommendations. Download in a new tab, and I will lead you there. Here it is. So this previous year's report. I will take you back to the app. And also download the blank checklist. Moreover, you can see information related to next year's inspecting company and the contact details of the site manager in order to agree with him the specific date of the inspection. You can see all that available in all different views. At this stage, you need to confirm the date and the duration of the inspection. And additional, to select the appropriate in the system by selecting 1 month, 1 week, or 1 day before the actual inspection date. In case you are okay with that, you just need to press the finalize date. Verify that the status has changed from unscheduled to scheduled. Of course, the application will generate the corresponding notification to the appropriate site manager and area manager, saying that the inspector has scheduled the inspection for this location on this date. Now, this stage here is the so-called preparation stage, where you can actually prepare yourself for the upcoming inspection, and you wait until the actual inspection takes place. The application will alert you in 1 month or 1 week, depending on what you have chosen, before the actual inspection takes place. In case you need to change the date or the duration or the alert period, you can press the edit button, and when you finish the changes, press again the Save Changes button. Each time something changes, a relevant notification is sent to site manager and area managers. Likewise, in the previous status, you can view all open overdue recommendations, download previous inspection report, or download the blank checklist appropriate for this type of location. After finishing your changes, you may press the Inspection Complete button. By pressing that, you can see that now the status changed again from scheduled to in progress. Now you're ready to start filling the report by pressing this red button. You can have information here, for example, how many days have passed since the inspection date and what is the report progress status. By pressing the Start Filling the Report button, the application opens a verification page where you need to verify the location profile. This step is mandatory and critical in order for the application to load the correct section and subsection of the report. The information related to location profile is loaded based on the setup of the specific location. In case something has changed, you must update this information and press the Verify button. By pressing the button, the system saves and updates information in the application database and opens the correct report with all relevant sections and questions for you. Bear in mind that you can visit at any given time this page, so you may re-verify the profile during report filling out. So by pressing the Verify button here, you are ready to fill out the report. The report consists of 5 major blocks. The top left shows the total progress and the percentage completeness of the report. Also gives you information about the location operation. The left block shows all sections in order of appearance with a current completeness for each section. The main center block shows the checklist content of the selected section. Finally, the right block here indicates hints as well as a reference to the applicable JITS standard. Hints hints are shown only when we have some hints per questions that have been set up by the technical manager or JIT admin in this platform. You may navigate in the report pages by clicking Next Page on the bottom right of the main Enter block, or you can navigate in the report section by clicking on the corresponding section that you want. For example, B2 storage. Cover and general info is partially completed with information that is already available to the platform. Nonetheless, you may change of the pre-filled answers. All other fields with tag empty means that you need to provide an answer. Note that some fields are mandatory, otherwise the completeness of the section is not 100%, so you will not be able to finally submit the report. All sections containing questions have a header indicating the total number of questions. Here. The number of answers per type, yes, no, etc. And also the previous inspection recommendations for the entire report. You may start answering some questions and you will see that the total number of yes are recalculated to 1. And also, the overall completeness has changed. In each question, you have to select only one of the following options. Yes, no, not available, not witness, comment, recommendation, recommendation overview. When you press the corresponding selection, the box will turn to red, and the question will be considered answered. It's already saved into the system. You don't need to do nothing. In case you select non-witnessed, FOSS will request the reason why this question is not witnessed. You have to select one of the options in the drop-down list. Again, when you select the answer and single-click out of the box, everything will be saved. In case you select Other, you need to write down a comment in the text area below, and then just click outside the box and everything again will be saved. In case you select a recommendation, FOSS will request additional information, like the priority, which can be normal or high, the target date, and the status. By default is open. The cause, you may select one of the causes. Design, test result, procedures, etc. And the significance, low, medium, high. Again, you need to click outside in order to be saved. Then you can write the recommendation text. And in cases that this recommendation has more than one root causes, you can add more. Or you can remove one. When you finish writing everything, just click again outside of the box and the recommendation will be automatically saved. You don't need to do nothing. Additionally, you can add an attachment, which is actually a photo. We can allow photos up to 10 megabytes size. If you press a comment, you need to provide the text describing your comment, and you also have the options again to attach a picture to the comment. When you finish again, just click outside the box and the comment will be automatically saved. Another very, very important and useful feature is the mass question answering tool. So let me take you in this section here. You can see in all sections in the top left, you will spot a set of three answers, namely yes, no, not applicable. These are provided in order to answer the whole checklist section question as yes, no, or not applicable. If you choose one, for example, yes, you will witness that the platform prompts you for these actions as it will override all answers in the section given so far. If I press yes, you see that all questions will be marked as yes, which means that they will override anything else that you have already been answered. So a hint here is first use the mass answering tool with the most frequent answer in this section and then change each individual question to the desired answer. The applicable JITS standard reference per question opens up in a model when single-clicking on the link. This provides an instant help to inspectors in case they want to know what the JITS standard requirement is. You can copy-paste the text to a recommendation or a comment if you want. In case there is a previous recommendation from the previous inspection report, you will see on the left side of the questions the red PIR. For these questions, if you press this button, a pop-up window appears showing the details of this specific last year's recommendation, like priority, due date, status, text, attachment, etc. All you need to do is read it and press the OK button. Then you may answer to this specific question with all options available. In case you prefer to do an RO, which is a recommendation overdue, again you need to write all the available information, and you all will be able to see the previous recommendation text written here. A very good hint in order to identify which questions you have a previous recommendation is that all sections that carry a PIR are marked with a red mark at the top right corner, for example here. In B2 storage, because of this red mark, I am sure that somewhere here the questions will have a previous inspection recommendation. So here it is, B219. Click on the summary section and you may enter the overall assessment and of course the summary text area where you can write your summary. At any point that you want to interrupt the process of filling in the report, the application auto-saves all changes that you perform. There is no reason to press any button to save your changes. And again, when you would like to continue filling in the report, you should again navigate to tasks, to my tasks page, open the inspection under in progress status and press the continue filling the report. So if I go outside and I want to continue, I will go here. It is already saved 16% overall progress. Press the continue, filling the report, and everything will be there and waiting for me to finalize this report. Again, at any given point during the filling the report, you may press the preview button. Press it, and a new tab will open. Let me take you to this tab. So here it is, showing the preview of the report, which means only with the fields that you have already filled out, so that you have an idea how the reports will look like. Many sections that you have already given answers will be shown. So here you can see a comment, etc. So let me take you back now. Inspection reports can be seen only when the report is 100% complete. The sign-off button at the bottom right is activated, and by pressing it, the platform prompts for your confirmation to sign off the report. Signing off a report is an action that cannot be reversed. You should submit the inspection report in a reasonable period from the actual inspection date in order that the submission is not considered as an overdue submission. Upon submitting the report, you may click in the inspection menu to download the finally produced report. By pressing the Open button, you will see the report was submitted in a new tab. So this is the main and most important flow of what inspectors should do. Just finish and upload and submit a report. The other task here, you can see the inspection, which actually lists all inspections submitted so far with the relevant information. Finally, the last menu for an inspector is My Findings, where an inspector can actually see all recommendations or recommendation overdue open. So each line here represents a recommendation. And you can see information like in which question, what was the recommendation, the priority, the status, the target date, the cost, and the significance. And by pressing this box here, you can actually see the real recommendation. So this is all about the inspectors menu. And now I would like to log out and log in as a member coordinator. So this is the homepage for a member coordinator. It has 4 widgets: the inspection widget, the report statistic widget, the register entities, and the findings global map. So the top left widget provides information on the progress of the inspection for the current year. So the percentage of unscheduled, scheduled, inspected, and submitted inspection per type of location is presented. You can view it as a total view or as a quarter view. The report statistics widget provides information on basic inspection report statistics. So you can see the average day for report submission and the average number of recommendations per inspection, as well as the top 3 checklist section producing the most recommendation and the most frequent identified root causes. You can switch to other location type using the all ADSD or JIG4, or you can switch to last year or this year metrics. Register entities is on the bottom left widget provides information regarding the number of various registered entities where your member company has interest in. Finally, the findings map widget here is a dynamic global map which on mouse over each country depicts the number of open, close, and overdue high or normal priority recommendation for the specific country and its region. In the schedule menu, again, you can have 3 different views: the panel view, the calendar view, and the list view. Here, in the panel view, you can see all inspections that they have status unassigned, unscheduled, scheduled, or in progress. You can see here in a calendar view or in a list view. The list view is the so-called dashboard, where the member coordinator can see live all the inspections that his company has interest in. You can see the status of each inspection, if it is assigned already to an inspector, who are the participants, the throughputters, next year inspecting company, etc. In the inspection menu, it's the same as the inspector. So here, all submitted reports are listed in this view. So the member coordinators can actually view all the reports and also see all the findings. In the next menu, it's the findings. You can see all recommendations, either by region or by specific KPIs, how many in total are open but not reached due date yet, open overdue, recommendation overdue, etc. And of course, all this table can be exported as well. And then we have the detailed findings table that summarize in a comprehensive data table format all recommendations given to the location, again, that the member company is eligible to access. On the last column, actions, again, you will see this button. If it is red, it means that this particular recommendation is open or overdue. If it was white, it means that it's closed. Then we have the reports menu. This is a tab where all master report templates are located. Member administrators can view the following menus. So it's checklist inspections, history, inspector performance, and global ranking. So let me start with checklist inspections. This submenu includes all information and metrics related to the submitted inspection reports and has 6 different tabs. Member coordinators can apply filters on top of the page in order to create their customized reports. So you can see the first tab is the overall performance. The charts here depicts in pie chart the percentage of reports submitted on time and overdue, the distribution of answers within the inspection reports, the assessment distribution, and some basic KPIs. And all this can be exported, or you can see the data table here that actually plot this chart. The recommendation tab shows the recommendation priorities distribution, the recommendation status distribution. The stack bar below depicts the high normal priority recommendation distribution by section. And this is a nested chart. So by clicking on the particular bar, and then the chart is reproduced to depict the high normal priority recommendation distribution per subsection of the checklist. Click back to return to the previous chart. Again, all charts and pies can be exported. Below the stack chart, you will find the top 10 questions with producing the most recommendations, comments, and non-witness answers. Finally, the top 10 questions table, you will find the questions that not produce recommendations ordered by frequency. Then we have the cause analysis tab. The stack bar chart on the top depicts the root cause distribution among all checklist sections, as well as the root cause significance, high, medium, and low. Likewise, it's also a nested chart. Click on a particular bar, it is reproduced to depict where in the checklist section this particular cause has been identified. And then the reproduced stack bar is further nested. So click here, and then you will see where exactly in the checklist subsection this particular cause has been identified. Click back to return to the initial chart. The next chart depicts the distribution of the root causes within the checklist section. It is helpful when the top chart it is in the original state. Again, all charts can be exported to various formats. The next tab is a report submission tab. The bar chart on the left depicts the percentage of reports submitted within the 6 weeks report submission period by inspector for this year and the year before. If there are inspection reports submitted outside this time window, they will be depicted in the bar chart on the right side of the page, grouping by 7 to 10 weeks, 11 to 15, and 16 or more weeks. The non-witness tab, it actually calculates the average number of non-witness questions per inspection report and the average percentage of questions answered as not witness. The bar chart on the right side of the page depicts the number of non-witness answers categorized in various ranges, from 11 to 20 to 71 to 106 non-witness answers. Finally, we have the filter tabs, where during the report compilation, inspectors are requested to submit data into the platform concerning the type and number of vehicles, the type of number of fixed filters and filters mounted on vehicles, as well as the presence or not of a leak detection system or the hydrant system. This table summarizes this information. Then we have the location history reports. This information, this report includes information and metrics related to the inspection performance of only one particular location throughout a certain period and years. So you can select the years of interest, and the timeline produced depicts the overall assessment of this location during this period, as well as the number of recommendations at each inspection per year. The scatter chart below depicts for this particular location the time period, the number of open or overdue recommendations arising from each respective year inspections. Then we have the report regarding inspector performance. This report is only available for mapped to member company inspectors. So choose a time period, find the particular inspector, and then press the Get Report button. The top left contains performance indicators for this inspector, like average number of recommendations per inspection, normal priority recommendation per inspection, etc. And also it ranks the inspector of all other inspectors in terms of completed inspections, average number of recommendations, etc. The pie chart depicts the distribution of location this particular inspector has inspected and the overall assessment distribution he has provided. Then we have his recommendation priority distribution and the regional distribution of the location he has inspected. The final report is a global ranking report, which includes ranking for location and inspectors on a predetermined criteria. So it lists locations based on specific KPIs, like average recommendation per inspection, to a negative and a positive way. So You can see here it's different ascending and descending orders. The criteria for inspectors are number of completed inspection, average number of recommendation, average days for report submission, and number of overdue submission. Finally, for the member coordinators, we have the setup menu. The structure, you can see here information about the member company, the member coordinator, and all the locations that they have some interest as a participant. And by pressing here, you can see all the information about location type, operation profile, operation profile, who are the member companies, who are the throughputters, what is the order of inspection, etc. And of course, you can see information about users. So member administrators, area managers, site managers, and of course, inspectors. Member coordinators can create new users only by giving them the role of member administrators. By pressing the Add New and fill out this form, you can create a new member administrator. But the process of that is always based on the user approval request. So whenever you would like to add a new member administrator user, this will go through the user approval request. So you will request the creation of the new member administrator on behalf of the member company. When you submit this request, it is automatically transmitted to the JITS administrator for its review and approval. So if they will approve it, you will see it here in this table. So here you will have the name, surname, the email of the user you just want to create, and then you will see if it will be whether approved or not by the JITS. If JITS administrator approves a new user creation, then the column approved will be populated with yes. And then automatically the new user will receive the credential to have access to the platform. So this was a navigation through the menus and what exactly the role of member coordinator can do, while the most important one is assigning new inspectors to specific inspection. So we will do that by seeing here all the schedule and panel view. So you can see different statuses: unassigned, unscheduled, scheduled, and in progress. Select an inspection which is unassigned, and then you can again see like inspectors or overview or current status of previous inspection recommendation, download the previous inspection report, see information about next inspecting company, next year's inspecting company, site manager information. So the number one task here is to actually assign an inspector. So by clicking here in the inspector drop-down list, you will see all available inspectors that are mapped to this specific company or they're independent. Select one. You may edit the proposed inspection date if you want to, and then click on the Assign button. You will see automatically that the status has changed for this specific inspection from unassigned to unscheduled. You can do the same also in all other views, like for example, a list view. So for example, you may want to change here the inspector and the date. You can do that by pressing the Save button. So all this information regarding changing inspectors is here. So all the thing that you have to do now is monitor all the workflow process of the inspection, from unscheduled to in progress and to submitted. You may again change the inspectors by pressing this edit button here and change again the inspector and the proposed date. So finally, let's log out from the member coordinators and log in as member administrator role. These roles have exactly the same credentials and the same permissions as the member coordinators, except that they have less reports. They don't have a structure and a setup, that they can see reports only for the checklist inspections and for the location history. And they have a view for the schedule only as a list view. And they cannot assign an inspector or change the inspection date. But they can see all the inspections submitted. They can view all findings. And they have, like I said before, a limited view on some of the reports. In the schedule, they can see only locations that they have permission to do so. So if they have a specific region-based permission, they can see only locations belonging to this region. If they have all, they can see all locations that the member company has interested in. So this is actually the last section of this report, of this webinar, which was actually a webinar for the inspector role, member coordinator role, and finally for the member administrator role. We really hope that you found this webinar helpful and thorough enough. At this moment, we see no questions so far. So in case you have any, please send us whatever questions you have or inquiries to our email address, which is info@efos.com. And we'll get back to you. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.